Oh, well, when those women come back, we'll have to pretend we're customers. Customers, that's it. Maybe the best thing to do is pretend we're rich. Then we won't have to spend anything at all. We're two men about town looking for hats for ladies. Good afternoon, Miss
Malloy.
Here, Cornelius Hackle. Here, Barnaby Tucker.
Oh, my pleasure, gentlemen. Now, what can I do for you?
Well, you see, we're two ladies about town looking for hats and ladies. We want a hat. For a lady, of course. And then everybody said to go to Miss Malloy's because she's so pretty. Oh, because her hats are so pretty.
And so reasonable, Cornelius. As reasonable as under $1 would still leave us enough to see the whale.
You've got to pay him no mind, man. He's come all the way from Yonkers to see the whale. Oh, why don't you go outside and look on the street? Maybe you'll see it pass by.
Is it big, black, with mean little red eyes?
Uh-huh.
It's sitting right on that bench.
Excuse me, Mr. Hackle, but did you say Yonkers?
Oh, yes, ma'am, Yonkers. And forgive me for saying this, but perhaps maybe Mr. Malloy might want to see Yonkers too.
Oh, I'm a widow, Mr. Hackle.
You are? Barnaby, she's a widow. I'm so sorry, Miss Malloy. I'm sure Mr. Malloy would have enjoyed Yonkers, especially in that hat. On you, of course, not Mr. Malloy. May he rest in peace. You're Catholic, aren't you? Well, don't let that upset you. I'd be more than willing to change. Mrs. Malloy, if you should ever have a spare moment, I would be more than willing to show you Yonkers from top to bottom.
Well, as a matter of fact, Mr. Hackle, I might be in Yonkers sooner than you think.
Oh, really?
You see, I have a friend who lives in Yonkers.
You do?
Perhaps you know him.
Well, perhaps we do.
Although it's always so silly to ask in cases like that, isn't it? It's a Mr. Vandergelder.
Vandergelder?
Oh, Vandergelder's opinion feed.
Do you know him?
No.
Mr. Vandergelder's a very substantial man and well-liked, they tell me.
A lovely man, Miss Malloy, just lovely. Has only one fault as far as I know. He's hard as nails.
Cornelius, I think...
Perhaps your friend might like this one.
Look out! Oh, begging your pardon, Miss Malloy.
Gentlemen, what are you doing?
Help us, Miss Malloy. We'll explain later.
Gentlemen, I insist you both get out of there this minute.
We're as innocent as can be, Miss Malloy.
Really, Mr. Hackle, Mr. Tucker, I insist you both get out of there, or I'll be forced to... Mr. Vandergelder.
Mrs. Malloy, you haven't happened to see Miss Levi, have you? She was supposed to meet me out on that bench 10 minutes ago. And when I make an appointment, I expect people to be on time. Oh, well, I brought a gift for you. Chocolate-covered peanuts, unshelled. That's the expensive kind. So did I just see you in here talking with two men?
Men? Men, Mr. Vandergelder, what would men be doing in a lady's hat shop? Now, why don't we go back into my workroom? I'm so anxious for you to see it.
I saw it last week.
So you did? Well, Mr. Vandergelder, how is the hay and feed business? I hear you have 3 friends, all hard as nails.
What on earth are you talking about?
Nothing, Mr. Vandergelder. Yonkers. I hear it's beautiful this time of year.
And who's been telling you about Yonkers?
No one. A friend.
What friend?
Well, you see, he...
He?
A customer, Mr. Vandergelder. Someone very well-to-do. He was in here buying hats for ladies. Perhaps you know him, although it's always so silly to ask in cases like that, isn't it? It's a Mr. Cornelius Hackle.
Did you say Hackle?
Why, yes.
Well, he happens to be my chief clerk, that's all. I demand an explanation.
And I'm going to give it to you. Well, why shouldn't you know Cornelius Hackle? Everyone in New York knows Cornelius Hackle. Why, he's here at the opera and all the fashionable homes. Why, he's even at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant 3 times a week.
That's impossible. He only has $146.35, and I keep that in my safe.
Mr. Vandergelder, you're killing me. He's one of the Hackles. They built the canal.
What canal?
The Erie. Both.
It ain't the same man.
Who took the horses out of Jenny Lynn's carriage and carried them through the streets? Cornelius Hackle! And who dressed up as a waiter at the Fifth Avenue Hotel and dropped an oyster down Mrs. Astor's? Oh, I can't say it, but it was Cornelius. He's the playboy of New York. Now, I really don't deny it. I can see you're as taken with him as everyone else.
Oh, really, Dolly, I just met him.
Excuse me. Of course. I'm sure you'd make short work of any man, those muscles rippling underneath your coat. I can see them now, rippling back and forth. Ripple, 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 back and forth. Ripple, ripple, ripple.
Well, now for the last time, will you please stand aside?
Stand indeed, Mr. Van de Gelder, is exactly what the courts will want to know when you're accused of entering that closet without a search warrant. What do you stand for if you don't stand for the law of this land? I know what I stand for. So you see, Mr. Van de Gelder couldn't possibly be a man in that closet. God bless you.
Mr. Malloy!
All right, Mr. Van de Gelder. There is a man in that closet.
Aha!
And another under this table.
What the devil?
There also happens to be a perfectly good explanation. But for the present, good afternoon.
Good Lord, the whole room is crawling with men. I'll never get over it. I take it I'll see you later this afternoon, Mr. Van de Gelder.
You will, with a certain young lady at the end of a certain parade. Good day, Miss Malloy.
Mrs. Malloy, I can explain everything.
Oh, I do not wish to hear any explanations, Mr. Hackle. Just you and Mr. Tucker. Do me the pleasure of leaving my shop, or I'll call for Officer Godfrey.
You ask me, Irene? Calling an officer's letting them off too easy. The law's courts is where these two belong. I've been adding up the legal offenses these two have committed, and I believe you have grounds for at least 2 writs, a non-compos mentis, and a garnishee. But the important thing is to try to tell them you settled it amicably first. Have dinner with them.
Dinner?
Dolly, is that really necessary?
That's the way things are done in law, Irene. Dinner first, a garnishee afterwards.
Very well. Mr. Hackle, Mr. Tucker, you may take Miss Fay and myself to dinner.
Delighted, Miss Malloy. I speak for Barnaby, too. And now I hear there's a very nice place in the railroad station that'll
Oh, no, Mr. Hackle. If the Harmonia Gardens is good enough for you and your fashionable friends, it's good enough for Miss Fay and myself. I hear they have a lovely orchestra there, Minnie.
Oh, Mrs. Malloy, we couldn't do that. Oh, well, you see, it's not the money or anything. Well, it's the whale. It's the whale. No, it's not the whale, Barnaby. It's the dancing. You see, they have dancing there, and, well, I don't know how to dance, and they have contests there, and, well, it would take me months, years to learn, and then Miss Dolly Levi, 33-year-old chief clerks, taught how to dance.
Now it's very simple. You put one arm here, and one arm here.
Oh, it's no use. I have absolutely no sense of rhythm.
Absolutely no sense of rhythm is one of the primary requirements by learning the Dolly Levi method. Just give me 5 minutes of your time and I'll have you dancing in the streets. Oh, to think of all the women who will find heaven in your arms. Let's start back at lesson 1. Put your hand on her waist and stand. With her right in your left hand. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Look, I'm dancing. Oh, well, I was.
Of course you are, Mr. Hackle. Take the someone whose arms you're in. Hold on to her tight and spin. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Look, I'm dancing.
Turn around like good into the air. Can't you be a little more aesthetic?
Don't you think my dancing has a polish and a flair?
The word I think I'd use is athletic.
My heart is about to burst. My head is about to pop. And now that we're dancing, who cares if we ever stop? Look at me, everybody. I'm Cornelius Hackle Sport and dancing.
You're next, Mr. Tucker. Glide and
Glide and then step and glide.
And everyone, stand aside!
Look, he's dancing. You can learn to polka if you learn to be gospel, or the tango filled with passion singing.
I'm a tango